My name's Crystxl King. I'm from East London. I'm a singer. Ooh, wow. So I started singing from a really young age. I actually used to be in like a school choir. Then it was like a gospel choir. We used to do like an after school club, go to the gospel choir, and it was just like an extracurricular activity. But that's when I realized that I had a voice because I kept getting put forward as the lead. Used to go to lots of youth clubs in East London. And yeah, that's how I kind of started off singing, sort of like school assemblies, choir, gospel stuff, and just after school clubs, youth clubs. Why do I do what I do? It's ingrained in me. I feel like I don't even know if it's a choice or if it's a calling. You know, sometimes like you've got something in you. Every time you do it, it feels good. That's the thing that you're just going to keep doing. So, like I say, from the beginning, when I kind of found out that I had something and other people were taking to it, and I started performing more and more, it just became part of me. And now I feel like if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be happy. So, I do it because it's who I am and it's what I'm supposed to do, I think. Yeah, I think early on, I did see it as something I could do. Like everyone used to say to me things like, "Oh, you're going to be a star" and stuff. When I was, just a little girl. So I guess people kind of implanted that into my mind, the idea of doing it, properly. But at the same time, I didn't have a clue how I was ever going to do that. So I was just enjoying the process, going and doing like any shows that I got. Like people would invite me to sing places and I'd just go. So I was never taking it as a career. I was just seeing it as something that I do and something that I was good at and something that made me feel good. But later on down the line, I think it's when people started to approach me with opportunities that I started to think, okay, I could take this seriously, could take it further than the assembly hall or the local shows and stuff like that. So it just progressed into something. But yeah, I always knew that I had something. I just didn't know what I was going to do with it. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to music education and its availability, I feel like there was a point in time where it was available when I was a lot younger. The adults around me at the youth clubs and stuff. There was always a youth club we were going to, and there was always some sort of music project ingrained in that. So I feel like that's where I got my first opportunities. I remember I probably was about 14, maybe a bit younger. I went to Little Ilford Youth Club and Kelly LaRock came in and she was like just rising, and there was always these little opportunities, and she came in to talk to us all because we were singing, and we just those kind of things made me aspire to do more and more of it. But also I feel like I was just there for after school club because my mum, was busy, but then there were opportunities at these places and spaces. And it's interesting because those opportunities were there and then all of a sudden they were gone. And it was just like you get to a certain age and then it's like you can't go to the youth club anymore. So where are you going to get these opportunities from? It felt like there were none. So it went from being loads of opportunities to no opportunities and trying to work out where to go with it. And I feel like now with like certain CICs and different community interest companies and stuff popping up, there's the opportunities are there again for the young people. So I feel like opportunity comes and goes, but if you're on it, you're going to find it. And I always found it somehow. Yeah, so when it comes to kind of having those opportunities and then you get to a certain age and then they're gone and then there's just nothing there for you, I can actually relate to that. So it was sort of like after youth club and everything, like I said, all the opportunities are gone and you get to a certain age and it's like, oh, we're just this program's just for people from age 14 to 18 or whatever it is, and you're 21 now. And there's no project or funding or anything for you. So it's difficult for artists that are at that stage because it's like the opportunities are there, but it's not for your age group. And you've got to kind of work in this world and do what you've got to do and still try to create your music around it. But like I said, with companies like community interest companies, I've got a CIC called She Inspired Her. And it's kind of like you can get funding to do different projects with young people. And I think that's a part of my giving back because I know what it was like for a good few years, quite a long stretch of years, just not having anything available to you. And then people are like, yeah, I'll do a music video for 5K. And you're just thinking, well, I don't have 5K. So then it's like you can't get things to the same level and quality as you could before when it was funded. And it's a bit of a circle. And I do feel for people who are in the age brackets where they can't get the funding anymore or they can't get the opportunities because it's like they're still creatives, they've still got something in them, but how are they going to get it out there without the opportunity to do it? So that's why I started up my CIC as well, just to kind of help people who are in that bracket as well. Okay, so She Inspired Her CIC is a community interest company that I set up to work with women and youth of both genders, all genders. So the way that it goes is that we have to apply for funding. We can apply to like the Arts Council, the National Lottery. There's lots of funders around, and we apply for funding and grants for specific projects. And then we're able to actually create spaces for young people to come in and do anything from actual painting and art to expressive arts to drama to music. It's a really incredible thing to be able to do. It's government funded. And yeah, it's difficult because it can be hard to get the funding, but when you do, and then you've got like a project of 20 young people coming in and showing their talents, you realize how necessary it is, because there's so much raw talent out there and they literally just need to know where to go to put it out there. And like I said before, when you don't have anything or any opportunities around you, it's all inside you and you want to put it out, but where and how? So there's a lot, you should really check it out. There's a lot of CICs around where you can sort of get those opportunities because they exist. So some insight into my background. I was born in East London in Mile End. Grew up in East London. I spent the majority of my life in East London in terms of living. Yeah, like humble family, you know, me and my older brother and my mum. And then my dad was in Bow, just down the road as well. And just kind of grew up quite a happy life, I would say. My mum just always made sure we had what we needed. She always, in hindsight, I look back and I can see areas where there was lack, but I didn't know it at the time. Like we just kind of, my mum just got on with it. She was one of those parents that was just like not going to show us anything that was going wrong. I went to a lot of extracurricular activities. My mum always put me into sort of like, I feel like that was part of the building of me, like putting me into like youth clubs and after school clubs and extracurricular activities and music academies. And she was always just trying to kind of put me in places where I could thrive and put me in places where I would have the opportunity to express, because I think I was a little bit shy, but I was always confident in the good things that I was good at. So she would always try to push me to do the things that I was good at. And yeah, then I went to secondary school in Greenwich, which was an interesting change for me, because there was like this long travel into school through the Greenwich Foot Tunnel and trudging all the way up there because there was no DLR, and it was an interesting shift for me. And I feel like I did change in those years of secondary school because it was just like a different peer group. Like I had to shift everything and change. But the one thing that I was always consistent with was music. Wherever I went, primary school, secondary school, college, it was always music, music, music. I was always trying to find a space where I could do music. So when I got to college, I did music technology as one of my areas so that I could produce music as well. I wanted to be able to make my own music. I wanted to know how to use production. Back then it was like Cubase. So that was amazing. And yeah, and then after college, I took a gap year and I was like, I'm going to go to New York. I was doing modeling and music. And I was out there on and off for about 4 years, living in New York, just doing my thing, very solo, very independent. It was a random decision between university and going to pursue what I wanted to do. New York was the making of me, I would say, because when you go to New York, like everyone's sort of like on a hustle and everyone's got a dream and everybody's kind of moving, and it really created the entrepreneurial side of me, the business side of me, the go-getter side of me. That all came from being in New York. So that was such a great decision. And the reason why I still do it now, I feel like that just filled me with a whole new energy of let's get it. So yeah, I think I've had like I've had a nice journey with music, and I feel like music is the thing that's always kept me solid and consistent and kept me going through any situation in life. So yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Why did I turn to singing and not to rapping, being from the birthplace of like grime and all of that? So, funny story, I did do my MC thing. I did do my MC thing for a little while. I did, back in the day, I got signed at around 15 years old. I got signed to an independent record label, and they were based in South London. And as well as kind of doing my sort of more R&B vocally type stuff, they introduced me to a crew that were called Two Dark Crew, and I kind of MC'd on that track, and we released it, and we had like a whole buzz around that, so that was pretty cool. But I just didn't see myself as an MC. I guess I'd been singing forever, and it's like lyrically, I could do stuff, but it wasn't really who I was. So I kind of dabbled in it a little bit, played with it a little bit, but it wasn't something that I was gonna try and create a career with. I think I saved a lot of people not creating a career out of that, because I feel like stick to what you're best at, and I was always best at the vocals. Yeah, so my start in music, so after the sign-in that I had when I was 15, I kind of took a break from music. I found that process really difficult. I didn't really like kind of being told. That was the first time I was kind of put on a string and told, sing it like this and do it like that, and oh, we want you to sound a bit more like Ashanti, and can you do that? And it just completely ruined it. So I took a step away from music, but then when I came back to music again, it was just me being creative. So once I got back into my creative flow, I kind of went onto the live scene. So there used to be a place called The Spot in Covent Garden. It was like an open mic space, and I used to go down to The Spot, and that's how I kind of regained my love for music and performing to people and just being on stage. Then from the open mics, I started getting bookings. Before I knew it, I was doing like a lot of support. So I supported De La Soul at the Jazz Cafe with Doc Brown, supported Omar, Drew Hill, supported Terry Walker at Catford, a theatre down in Catford. Like, there's all these shows started to pop up, so that was amazing. And that became my thing. I was kind of like on the live circuit, just doing live shows, you know, getting paid, getting booked. It was great. But then after a while, that got a little bit tedious as well, because it was just like late nights, going to this show, going to that show. Pay wasn't always good. Like, it was a bit of a, I did that for a long time though. And then I got into session singing. So I was doing a lot of session work, working with songwriters at places like EMI and stuff, and being a session vocalist. That was kind of my job for quite a long time as well. But that also just, I learned so much there. I learned the process. I learned about songwriting and how it all works. And, you know, that was amazing for me as well. Then when I came out of that, I kind of went back to doing live shows. This is the time when we had things like MySpace, and like more social media was coming up. So then I used to just do vocal videos, and I used to get all the hits for that. And then I used to get booked for that. Did a lot of local shows, like the local mayor's show. Every single year they booked me for that. Dropped quite a few singles on Channel U. Yeah, I had my sort of Channel U moments, and Flavor TV, that was it, Flavor TV. So it's interesting because the dynamic and the movement of the industry has changed so much over the years. And I feel like I've kind of been through it all on different levels. And it's just been amazing. I think the biggest shows I did back then, there was a place called Sound in Leicester Square. I remember there was an event there, and Ed Sheeran was the kind of lead act, and Joe Thomas as well, the R&B singer. And I sang at that show. That's probably one of the best shows I did. Ed Sheeran was just coming out, and it was crazy because he kind of had like one of those machines where you kind of like play it, and then you loop it, and then it was just like like coming through this sort of come up, and just kind of being in these different spaces, and never really knowing that I was going to be there. That's the thing. I never knew I was ever going to be anywhere. And it would just be last minute, oh, Crystxl, can you jump on this? Or Crystxl, like that's kind of how my career was moving. It was just kind of like I wasn't managed anymore. It was very impromptu. It was very last minute, late nights. But I really loved it. I feel like it grew my character and who I am. So yeah, that's kind of the scene, and the ups and downs of like my journey up until now. And I'm very aware that many people have no idea, have never heard of me. But it still feels great to me that I got to do those things and be in that process and do those shows and meet those people. And again, every time I met someone, they inspired me just that little bit more to go a little bit further. And now it's my time to do the more commercial thing and see how that goes for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So with my whole background and everything I've just spoken about, how do I feel about sitting in this chair doing an interview called The Unknowns? I'm happy about it because it's an opportunity to showcase what I do. I'm always going to be unknown to somebody. And, you know, it's like, I don't feel like I am in the position to sit in the legendary chair. I don't feel like I'm in the position yet to sit in some of the other chairs that exist. And I'm happy to see the people sitting there ahead of me. There's a future for me. So at some point I'll be sitting in other chairs. But right now I am unknown to many. And this is going to make me known to few or more, and it's just going to expand, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. So, and I'm happy because at the end of the day, unknown, upcoming makes me seem a bit younger, doesn't it? I'll take it. My goals and ambitions. Do you know what? I just want to feel good. I just want to make sure that no matter what I'm doing in life, I'm just always focused on that energy of feeling good, being in a good space. And again, that's music. It's always been music, and that's why I continue to do music. I want to be able to just travel, do music, create music. I'm a songwriter, write for other artists, and just kind of be in my music bag. I feel like I've done a lot of things. You know, I run businesses, I do different things, but music is the area where I feel like to live the happiest life, I'll just be consistently doing music. So writing for other artists, you know, working with other producers, as well as dropping my stuff, live shows, all of that good stuff. So yeah, 3 words that define me. I would say ambitious, kind, and sure. In the next 5 years, I could see myself in a safe place. I just want to be secure. Everything kind of rolled out. You know, I'm about to release music. The music will be out there. I'll be doing my things. I'll be getting booked. But also, it would be great to get my businesses to an area where everything is just, you know, solid. And just, I've spent many years building many things. And I feel like now is the time where I just want it to all, you know, flow easily or easier, not to be on so much of the hard grind and just see the fruits of my labor. So yeah, in the next 5 years, I hope that everything I've been doing over the years just comes to fruition, and you know, I feel good about it and live a good life. That's what I'm hoping for. My inspiration, where do I get it from? I think over the years that answer has changed. So when I was growing up as an artist, I was inspired by other artists, and you know, the artists that were ahead of me and the legends that I was seeing ahead of me, and I was like, wow, I really want to aspire to be as great as that. And now I think I'm so inspired by young people. I'm so inspired by youth. I work with them consistently, and the energy that they have, and the vibrancy, and the talent, and the ability, and the thing, you know, each one can teach one. It's like I'm here to teach them, but there's so much that they're teaching me. There's so much in them that I didn't have in me at their age. I feel like the new generation is like a whole different ball game. So I'm very inspired and motivated by working with youth, working with young people, and just kind of continuing on, and hopefully that being part of my legacy. So basically, when Kelly LaRock came to our youth club, we wanted it to be Kelly LaRock. Why? Kelly LaRock was local. Kelly LaRock was a star at the time for us. We were looking at her like she's a star. You know, the level that she was on, we were all aspiring to be at it. And the fact that she came from locally, she came to our youth club, gave us the time. It solidified her in my mind as a flipping superstar. You know, it's like the give back means so much to young people. And again, that's another reason why I try to do what I do, because her coming to the youth club that day, we were all like in awe. She was doing her thing. She took time out. She told us that she was from our area. She told us that, you know, if I can do it, you can do it. All of those little things. If it had been Beyonce that came in, I wouldn't have related in the same way. She was a local person, and she was showing us what was possible, and that stayed with me forever. And to this day, like, yeah, it's still with me, you know, and that's why I also do what I do, because it means something. Even to this day, when I see Kelly LaRock performing, when I see her on Instagram, I still feel about Kelly LaRock how I did that day when I was like 14, 15. Like a lot of artists don't realize that the way you treat someone, that first impression, it stays with them forever. And it's like, you could never tell me no wrong about Kelly LaRock, because that day she came in and she gave us all something that she didn't have to give us. And it stays with me today. When I see her, I still kind of think, oh, Kelly LaRock, you know, it's just the same, it stays. So it's like, it's so important to do that as an artist. So does Kelly LaRock know that she's inspired me in that way? I don't know. She won't remember me as an individual little 14-year-old sprog. Do you know what I mean? I doubt it. But she'll know now. Shout out to Kelly LaRock. Like, but I think in a way, she definitely knows. I show her love a lot online, so she knows that I'm showing her love. But it's funny because it's important to give people their flowers while they're here. So yeah, shout out Kelly LaRock. Shout out Kelly LaRock. Oh, my creative process, it varies. It really varies. Like, depends on who I'm working with. And, you know, sometimes a producer will just send you a beat and they'll be like, write to this. And I've had so many situations where, like, for example, Vapor, he'll send me a beat, jump on it, I'm in there, takes me 3 seconds to write the song, I'm all over it. It's like, it's all about the energy. And then there's some producers that will send you a track and 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh, what should I write? So it's kind of like hit and miss sometimes with that process when they actually send you the beat and you write it. It has to take me straight away or it just doesn't. And that's when you know it's going to be a hit. If you kind of jump into the energy of you're just excited about it before you've even written anything, or the melodies are just flowing as soon as you hear it. For me, that's like the best way to write music. But if I'm just writing by myself, I tend to need some music underneath me to write. So I don't normally just write a cappella. But yeah, sometimes like nowadays I'll just jump on YouTube and go to like a instrumental beat and I'll just, whatever I vibe and flow with, I'll just start writing and writing and writing and writing. I could write for days and then I'll go seek out a beat that I can put it on. But yeah, it does change. It does change. But I do need to be in my zone. I prefer to write at home or be like go away to a hotel or something and just like take a few days out and just write, headphones on the beach. I prefer that to being in the studio sometimes with others because it's an energy thing. But again, if it's the right person, I'll jump in the studio and we'll just bounce off of each other and the rest is history. Does being an artist help me in any other areas of life? I think all aspects, all areas of my life, it helps that I'm an artist because creativity is, you know, like in business, you're bringing something to nothing, you're creating something out of nothing. It's the same process with writing a song. It's the same. So it's like having that experience of knowing that it's possible that I can have nothing and create something beautiful out of it. It means that I now have the mindset that that's possible in any area. So I definitely think I bring my creativity to everything, not necessarily music, but in terms of just being a creative, I would definitely say that's what I am, and I bring it to every aspect of my life. I'm definitely up for collaborating with other artists. To be fair, it just depends on like the music and like if I feel it and if I resonate with it, and if you know a lot of artists, I do tend to listen to their message and what they're talking about, and you know if they've got like a little something special that's just different to everybody else. I love that. So the more strange, the better sometimes, because I just feel like there's no point in doing the same thing that everybody's doing all the time. So I guess when I'm talking about collaborations, I'm thinking about energy. Do we bounce off of each other? You know, can we create a vibe that if we enjoy the vibe, other people can enjoy it. So if it's a situation where somebody asks me to collab and it just doesn't feel right, then I just wouldn't do it, because at the end of the day, if we're not feeling it, how are we going to get anyone else to feel it? But yeah, collaborations, I'm definitely up for them. And I like artists with a message and with a signature kind of sound as well. What can you expect from me in the future? More music, more music, more music. Like I've got to the point where I've kind of, you know, I've created my little empire around me and what I'm doing. And now I've got the time to focus on the music, which is a place that I've always wanted to get to. It's taken me so long to get here, like so long to get here, but I've stuck to it and I'm here now. So it's just, I'm really trying to focus on music. I've got an EP coming out called Into the Garage, Nostalgia. And I'm going to be going through like the maze of, you know, what it felt like growing up listening to garage. My brother was a garage DJ. So garage has got like a big place in my heart. Like I said, Kelly LaRock came down to the youth club. There's a lot of garage stuff that was around me growing up. So this project is sort of like a dedication to that scene and to me growing up in that scene. And really looking forward to putting that out. Got some really good collaborations on that EP as well. And yeah, got a single coming with Vapor as well, called Tables Turned. That's going to be like the first big stinker that we're going to drop. I cannot wait. Just see where that goes and just keep flowing with it. You know, it's all about just flowing with it, seeing where it takes me and picking and choosing what makes sense. So I'm just looking forward to the next steps with music right now. Why should people take me seriously? People don't have to do anything at all. If you feel it, you feel it. If you don't feel it, you don't. I feel like there's a million artists out there. Some people love them, some people don't. I don't expect everybody's love. But the people who resonate with me, they resonate with my voice, they resonate with my message and what I'm doing, they'll take me seriously. Just like it will just be a thing that they do. But nobody has to do anything. I just hope that people love what I'm giving out, and those who do, I'll continue to give it to them. where can people find me? So it's Crystxl King, Crystxl, extra large, baby. So if you just type in my name, I'll come up. We got the beauty of Google right now. So just Google me and all the platforms will come up. So we've got Instagram, Crystxl King, Twitter, Crystxl King, or X, Crystxl King, YouTube, Crystxl King. It's all Crystxl King. So yeah, come find me. I'll be waiting.